what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to the KwingsLetsPlays Super Megaforce on the Nintendo 3DS. And I'm officially lowering the difficulty because, well, things were taking a little bit too long.
Because Kwing isn't new. No.
You know what? Fine, I'll keep it at normal.
No, I'm just...
But today's all about the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all 7, and Tommy. Well,
yeah, they kept adding more because, people wanted to stay on the show longer. Yeah.
Alright, so we'll do the favorite coupling. A ruin in place like this looks very suspicious. It's gotta be some kind of trap. Oh, that's the Pink Ranger, whoops. Yeah, let's be careful. Okay. Wow, okay, so that was great. Alright, Saba, let's do this. Alright, so I am Tommy, the White Ranger. Not quite as popular as the Green Ranger, but... yeah, interesting little trivia about our friend Tommy here. He was actually only hired by Saban for 10 to 12 episodes in Mighty Morphin. And then, of course, he became super popular and went on to be in over 200 episodes. But, yeah, he was only supposed to be...
worked his way up to the DAP.
Because remember, in Japan, the Green Ranger died. So, that's what was going to happen to him. Because Power Rangers was only going to be a total of, I believe... about 25 to 30 episodes, and Green Ranger would be in 10, the 5-episode miniseries, and then Green Ranger would appear every once in a while, assisting the Rangers, and things like that.
It was really awkward the way that they did it, I think, where they kept dragging him into the plot, which they just added stuff and to keep him on, and it was just like, I don't know. For me, like, I just heard from you about it, and then I started watching, like, the season 2, and it was like 15 episodes of every single time at the end of the episode, like, they do a thing with, like, Trini and the Pink Ranger, and then they would just, like, that would be about them, but then at the end of the episode, it would be all about Tommy again, and how he's losing his powers, and it would just be like, every single end of the episode would be like, oh, we fought this guy, but Tommy's still losing his powers. Oh,
well,
poor me.
I know.
And it was just like, this is not making me happy. Like, I do not enjoy watching this. I just stopped watching. I was just like, this is dumb.
And the first season wasn't like that. I mean, yeah, it was like, okay, we understand that Tommy, you know, is probably going to lose his powers because, you know, Jason was unable to save the Green Ranger candle and some of this other stuff that Rita was using to try to get Tommy back. But it was I really liked Tommy as the 6th Ranger. Like, of the original Rangers, my favorite 6th Ranger has to be Tommy. Just like my favorite Red Ranger is always going to be Jason. Tommy was an interesting character in the sense that he was a support character, and the Green Ranger was stronger than all the other Rangers. I'm not going to deny that. The only time Green Ranger was not the strongest Ranger in Ranger history is when he gave his powers to Jason. And Jason had both the Tyrannosaurus coin and the Dragon Zord coin, making him the most powerful Ranger in history.
Right.
More powerful than the White Ranger, probably more powerful than Gold Ranger. So, I mean, you know, that was something else, but...
yeah, it was just... It was like they just kept him on, even though they're like, it doesn't matter if the plot makes sense, or, you know, if this is believable, we're just gonna bring him on because he's popular, and it's just like, oh, this doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It was bringing me down. It felt like it took away from the other Rangers, because, like, every single episode was about him, so I could understand watching the 2nd season if you thought Tommy was so popular, because it was like they were making every episode about him.
Well, I can't even explain why everybody, liked the 2nd season, or they didn't like it more. Ratings started to take a dive when Tommy left the show, or, like, during the 2nd season, during Missing Green, and they were already bringing in the White Ranger. And of course, you know, during this time in post-production, like, I'd say about, like, 4 episodes. By the time of Opposites Attract, Jason, Trini, and Zach, like, in that, like, while that episode was in post, they were gone. So they had to have people... You didn't watch that stuff, but they had to have people come in and do impersonation voices. While the actors were there, like,
I might have watched
filming the live-action stuff, when they were in the suits... They had somebody else from Opposites Attract, like the episode after that, all the way until the, the power transfer. They had somebody else doing the voice of Jason, Trini, and Zach when they were in the suits. because the
Yeah.
actors weren't there to do the voiceover for their characters.
Yeah.
And that's when things started to feel weird because there was less stuff that Jason could do and say because
So it felt like
wasn't
he wasn't
him.
as cool.
Right.
Because he wasn't there to be cool.
And this was right around the time, like during the White Light or the White Ranger episode, that
Yeah.
Zordon, in post-production, not when Austin St. John was on the set filming this and all the other Rangers, because the live-action bits where Jason is there with the White Ranger, he still stands in front of Tommy, and Tommy's still the Sixth
Right,
Ranger.
yeah.
It was in post-production that they said, okay, they're not here, so we need to make it look like the White Ranger's the leader, when he wasn't. They had
Yeah.
to dub that in.
Yeah, it felt. Yeah, it was just really awkward because you'd think during even something you were saying to me, and I agreed. Like I was thinking the same thing when I was watching was that like if you're just thinking of the plot of these Rangers, like the Red Ranger's been leader from the beginning, wouldn't there be discussion? Like wouldn't he be like, no, what I don't understand, so I shouldn't be the leader anymore? The White Ranger's gonna be like, you'd think there'd be a discussion. Like, you know what I mean about that? Or, like, there'd be feelings or something, you know what I mean? Like,
You would think
what?
so.
I wasn't doing a good enough job? Or, I don't know what you would... You'd have some kind of discussion or dialogue about it, you know?
Because that's not what Zordon said, and it
They
wasn't in the
didn't-
original
the
script.
original thing, what they'd said was...
He
was
Tommy's
just
back.
gonna be another Ranger.
Yeah, Tommy was back, and his powers can't be taken away because they're made
doesn't-
by good.
It doesn't make any sense because, there's so many things wrong with it. It's just hard to explain, but...
If you watch that episode, Zordon says it not once, but 4 times that Tommy is the new leader of the Power Rangers, and Jason's just like, that's great. It's like,
Yeah.
no. But afterwards, I mean, people were a little weird. They're like, why is the second in command of the Power Rangers still doing the morphing call? Still, like, doing all the... It was a shared...
They still have...
Yeah.
I don't like... When you have too many cooks in the kitchen, too many leaders, it just gets awkward. I felt like it was so awkward. The entire second season was awkward. That's why I went back. I didn't understand. Like, I thought Netflix only was giving me the second season, but I found out, oh, no, it has the first season too. So then I went back and watched the first season. It's just so much more fun and easygoing. Like, I just prefer watching the first season better. It's just the plot makes sense. Everyone is just where they're supposed to be. It's just like, it's just like, it makes some sense, This whole second season is just so awkward. I just feel like there's hardly an episode that isn't awkward in it.
I would say that the episodes get awkward as soon as the White Ranger comes in, but I didn't like in the second season, like where it was, the whole boohoo Tommy thing, because we already went through that in the first season. It's like, why are they repeating the same thing?
They kept continuing it, like, even towards the second. I'm not, as I was saying, as I'm watching it, it's like carried up for 15 episodes, boo-hoo, he's losing his powers. Like, seriously. You only have to do 1 or 2 episodes on this, like, at the most. Like, why would you carry this through?
How many episodes did Jason get when he was losing his powers as the Gold Ranger? 5 episodes.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I'd say that his powers were actually killing him,
wow.
too. Yeah, the Gold Ranger powers were killing him.
That's actually more dramatic, yeah. But I felt like Tommy was like the Eeyore of the group, like, oh, poor me, my powers are...
Poor me, I'm Eeyore.
Nobody cares, my powers are draining.
I mean,
It's
I'll
like,
always,
oh my God.
I will always appreciate what Tommy did for the show, and I really like him as a Sixth Ranger, but as a leader and like all this other stuff, no, he was not. No.
Yeah, but I could see what you were saying when I watched the first season again, because I was thinking, remember I watched the second season, I was like, you know what, now I know why people think Tommy's the leader, or the best ranger, I told you all these things, and then I'm like, you're like, oh, you haven't watched the first season? I was like, oh, well, I was like, they should have done this and this with Jason to show that he was a leader, and you're like, they did do that, you didn't see the first season, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I watched the first season, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, he did own that. So, like, if you watch both seasons, 1 and 2 in a row, it's so awkward. It doesn't make any sense.
If it was all possible, I mean, I would stop watching the Power Rangers after the episode Missing Green, because you're going to get 15 episodes where the Rangers are just like, Tommy's gone forever, and then they start developing, like, the White Ranger, and it just gets really weird, because by opposites attract, the voices don't sound... I mean, the guy that got to do Jason kind of sounds like Jason, but... It's all Billy and Kimberly's voice, and then they bring in Tommy, who has no powers, and he's just there for the live-action parts, because the actors, never mind. It's just they were using like footage and stuff for Jason, Trini, and Zach when they weren't there, like stock footage and bringing in Tommy. And
I think the whole idea that they even got rid of Zach and Jason, or Zach and Jason and Trini, that they got rid of those actors was stupid on Saban's part. Like, they just wanted more money for the people that were in the,
everybody.
They could have just been like, no, we're not doing that.
Well, there's more information about
got
that
them
now.
to come back. Like, it's ridiculous that they would fire them. Like, it just made so much awkwardness. It just messed up the entire show. I think it was such a stupid decision, like, to get rid of them.
Now, Jason was actually getting a similar pay to the Green Ranger, though, because he was considered a star as well as the Green Ranger. Yeah. And even Amy Jo was actually getting paid more than Trini and Billy and Zach. So, I mean, Jason really didn't have to do what he wanted. Like, he didn't have to go on behalf of the crew and the other Rangers to petition for that stuff because he was pretty well paid. He didn't really need he was the star of the show, essentially. Yeah, I mean, when they first start out and they show him, as the leader, I mean, you can definitely tell, you can tell he's such a powerful leader because he looks like, like the first episode where they kind of show him where he's there, he looks like Ryu a little bit, Yeah, he's got the
bandana
and
the muscle shirt, and he's teaching his karate class.
So the last level I played as Trini and Billy. I didn't really have much to talk about with them. So I'm playing as the leader of the Power Rangers now, and the second in command, Zach. Because it's important to note that the Mammoth Ranger was the second in command of the Zoo Rangers, and I think his name was Goshi in Japan, and he was an interesting character. But Zach, Zach was awesome as, like, second in command of the Power Rangers. Yeah. And it would have been cool if Adam would have been that, but they made Kimberly when the originals left, and then they made Billy, like, when Kimberly left. So it was White Ranger and Billy.
Zach was, like, watching the first season with Zach there. I love his fighting style, and also...
Hip-hop keto, baby.
Also, when he's, in the live-action scenes and stuff, he's, like, the most fun. Like, he's Mr. Fun Times, He's always playing jokes on people and goofing off and stuff, so... He's got so much personality. I just think it was really dumb for them to let the three of them go, because it was just, like, they work so well together, Trini and Zach and everybody, and it was just like, because, then you bring on Rocky, and now I do notice I watched one half of one episode with Rocky, and then I was just like, I'm not watching this anymore.
Goodbye, Power Rangers.
Because, like, it's kind of ridiculous, like, they put him in the same costume as, or, for teaching his karate lesson as Jason. Like, it's like almost like they just replaced Jason.
This is what I was telling you. Like, they act like they never existed.
They put him there, and then it was like, instead of having him have his own personality, they kind of like have him leech off of Jason's personality and give him the exact same outfit. But instead of looking really muscular like he's Ryu or something, and he's like, you're really intimidated by him.
He looks like a weak Ken.
He looks like this scrawny little guy with this little tank top on, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's just sad. I love when Jason comes in and I didn't realize how, when he's in the fight with the Green Ranger in the first season, or, his dragon, or his Tyrannosaurus is just as big as the Green Ranger's one, and they totally duke it out, and his Tyrannosaurus thing wins.
Yeah.
Whatever, Zord, or whatever it's called, yeah.
Yeah, because in Japan, they were brothers. Like, they were, from their, prehistoric timeline,
I love how is that really him? Is that Austin St. John? Like, oh no, that's the Japanese guy.
No, the fight is the Japanese footage.
The
only
when he
time
comes out of the top,
you can actually,
like he stands up on top of his.
You can actually tell when it is the American Rangers, because what they did. Remember, during that duel, Burai gets killed. Mm-hmm. Or, well, no. Actually gets killed later, but he gets hurt.
Yeah.
In the American version, they don't show that. It's a much longer duel, and both the both the Red and the Green Ranger get hurt. Yeah. Pretty bad, and they have, like, spark damage. After the fight, even though the Red Ranger was hit by the dragon dagger, and he had, like, that, like, black spark thing on his chest, mm-hmm. when he shoots Tommy's evil sword, there's no black mark because that was the American footage. So, and you could also tell the difference between, like, Jason was a bulk guy. Austin was, like, this big dude. So when he's like, it's over, Tommy, and he shoots the thing, you can see the difference between American and the Japanese footage. Also, the dragon shield was, like, hard plastic or foam in Japan, and it looked really cool. It had armbands and all this other stuff. And the American version, it was, like, this very soft material. And it just looked really bad. It looked nothing
it looked like he was wearing a child's costume. Like I'm dressing up as the Green Ranger. Oh wait, no, you actually are the Green Ranger. You're on the set.
So, I mean,
it looked like he was wearing a quilted blanket that was like cut in a triangle.
Yeah. So I mean, all those times that you were seeing the putties attack Green Ranger with that really stupid shield, that was the American footage. And what they did with the White Ranger, how they made him work with the other Mighty Morphin characters, is they would always film Tommy's stuff separately from the other Rangers. So that's why it looked like the Tommy Show, because they couldn't mix footage with the White Ranger and the other Rangers because they didn't adapt the Die Ranger costumes.
It's pretty much comes down to the entire reason why everyone thought that Tommy was so amazing was because they always had him do his solo thing because he wasn't supposed to be still alive. He was supposed to be dead.
Yep.
So the whole thing comes down to what people perceive. Like, for me, like, I felt like him having the shield made him look like he should be the leader and Jason shouldn't. Like, I felt like when he, like, if I was Jason and, like, this guy worked in my group, I'd be like, yeah, you need to wear a costume the same as the rest of us now since you're in this group. Like, I'd be like, yeah, you can't wear the shield anymore. Or, like, he'd have to give the shield to the Red Ranger. That'd be me.
Well, he did when he died.
Oh. Well, see, that's what it should have been. He should have just given his shield. Wait, it's kind of selfish to keep your own shield. Come on.
Yeah, be a team player, Tommy.
You should give
up
it
the
to
shield.
Jason. Or divide it up between everybody. So, I don't know. Everyone's gonna hate me, but I just...
But no,
I think it's awkward that he would have a special outfit if he's not the leader. Yeah, go ahead.
The reason why Jason did not use the Dragon Shield that much is because when Burai died, his brother, Geki, which is the Red Ranger, he used it maybe 4 or 5 times and the show ended. It ended with them sending Rita or Fedora or whatever her name is back into space or whatever happened to her. I'm going to go with Trini and...
Yeah, even if you watch on YouTube, though... Oh, wait.
Hang on. Trying to think who I want to pair her with. Yeah, I'll go with Zach. Trini and Zach.
Yeah.
Oops. This stuff again. It's the end of the line, Rangers. Argus. Not on your life. You're going down. Ha 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 ha. You think you can beat me?
It's the Terminator.
Yeah, we can beat you. Okay. So, getting back to the Dragon Shield, he had it for a while, but the reason why they never continued to use it, even after Tommy was out of the show, and like after the Doomsday episode, is because they had no more footage of the Red Ranger using that.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they
had to use old footage,
right?
You know, of the Red Ranger and them fighting.
Exactly. So they had, like, Jason had the ability to use the dragon powers for, like, probably 15 episodes. He used them 4 times.
When you go on YouTube and you watch that fight, and you should see all the comments that are like, this was the best part of the entire show. Like, they should have pumped way more episodes out with, Jason using both the Dragon Shield and his own powers. Because he was the most powerful.
The power sword and the power dagger, yeah.
And it's like, everyone loved that, so, I don't know. I know that we're not the only ones that felt that way, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone wishes that would happen. I mean, people wanted Tommy on the show, but I just felt like they should have kept him on the show in a different way. Like, just as another Ranger. I don't like it when there's, like, there's, like, a struggle for power. Like, that's just awkward. Well, there should be teamwork.
What's funny is, during Power Rangers Zeo, when Jason came back, the writers were trying to make it look like underlining the fact that Jason was kind of the leader of the Zeo Rangers, because King Ranger, in Japan, like for the O Ranger series, which was Zeo, when the Gold Ranger shows up, he is the leader of essentially the Zeo Rangers.
Oh,
so every time you have King Ranger, which is Jason, Gold Ranger, with the other Rangers, in reality, in his Sentai counterpart, when he's standing in front of the other Rangers and doing all this cool stuff and commanding them, he was the leader. So naturally, when Jason came back, or ASJ, and he was doing stuff as Gold Ranger, he was the leader of the Power Rangers again. You could just feel it. He was telling the other Rangers what to do. He was like, he had more lines than Tommy. You know, it was a great time for him. But
but if they say they should make things like specific, I don't understand why there's all this like you don't know really who's the leader. You have to guess like by whose looks more powerful on screen. Like they should just say it in dialogue. Like, okay, you are now the leader.
Well, with the whole Power Rangers Turbo thing, if there really was a 6th Ranger, I mean, Austin St. John would have been back after Zeo. He wouldn't have ended after his Gold Ranger stunt. Like they would have brought him back. But you know, having both ASJ and JDF like in the thing, you know,
awkwardness. Well, like it'd be too many old characters brought back.
Well, no, not just that, but you have to think in terms of screen presence and just like, you know, pure talent. ASJ was just better. Like if you put Tommy scene by scene with Austin St. John stole the show. The only way that Tommy was able to really like I guess get a better presence on the show is all those single battles that they had to film in order to incorporate his character that did not exist in Sentai.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a coincidence, or it was just by chance.
And same thing with Right Ranger. If you go back and you watch like season 2 or season 3 of Mighty Morphin, before they had to like bring in the Alien Rangers to adapt something different because the ratings were because you could only get so many of like, okay, the Rangers are going to get together for 5 minutes and fight, and Tommy's going to fight solo for like 6 minutes, and you're always wondering as a kid, why didn't the other Rangers come and help the White Rangers? Like, because they weren't the same adaptation.
Yeah.
White Ranger was from another Sentai series, and they were still using the Zoo Ranger suits. So Tommy would always get his butt kicked and end up going in the Zord, and they would show a picture of the Power Rangers in their Zord, and then the Tommy in his Zord, but they'd never show them together in the same Zords.
Didn't, like, when they added the Green Ranger, didn't they make a Zord that was all together with all 6?
And Green Ranger did appear sometimes inside of the Megazord.
Why didn't they just use that all the time? Like, I don't understand why they would do a separate one.
Because White Ranger was from Die Ranger, and he was not part of Mighty Morphin. Like, that's what
so after it went to White Ranger, then it got awkward because he couldn't be in that Mega.
Exactly. So it was more solo stuff.
So it couldn't be in the combined Zord thing.
In fact, I would say, based on his White Ranger stance, or stunt, he faced Goldar probably as many times as Austin St. John did. Like the solo fights.
Yeah. Wow.
Because, I mean, you had to think of ways that Tommy could do stuff, because, yes, he's the leader of the Power Rangers, but what is he really doing? He's just doing tons of solo stuff.
Yeah. They did, I mean, as a matter of leading and helping the other Rangers learn how to fight together and instruct people where to go and stuff, then Jason was the one who did more of that.
It was really awkward, though, when they did have the Rangers come together and they had Rocky leading or something like
because it's like, why would you have the new guy lead?
Exactly.
It would be more believable that even
Billy or
the Kim, either the pink or the blue Ranger should be leading people.
Which they did later.
Longer.
When they did the when they lost their Thunderzord powers or whatever, Kimberly did essentially become the second in command, telling everybody what to do when they had their ninja powers. And then by the time I guess Zeo came out, Adam, because he was like more of a he had a great screen presence, awesome actor, wonderful voice actor. By the time Zeo came out, before Jason was on the show, and even in Turbo, he was the second in command.
Yeah.
You know, he was perceived that way. He acted like that. You know, he had some pretty good scenes and things like that. There was more live action bits.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah. It's time to finish this guy. And I think that concludes our kind of chat about Mighty Morphin. I'd love to talk more about Zeo, but I really don't know that much. Like, I'm fascinated to learn more about Austin St. John could have been in Turbo, like, as a Ranger, if there were 6 Sentai Rangers. Because, you know, he was the 6th Ranger now. Which was an interesting dynamic to bring him back. He was the leader, and then to bring him back as the 6th Ranger, who was essentially the leader of Zeo.
I'd love to see him in a show even now. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, I don't know if he'd do it, but, like, you know, as a older mentor kind of.
They're talking about bringing him back for Dino Charge. Like, he was in talks with people and things like that, but nothing's official yet.
Yeah, because I think, like, he
Skeletor, my loyal subjects curse you all for destroying them or something.
Oh, he cursed us. No.
I hate to be cursed. This is cursed. That is cursed.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting there. We're on, I think I want to talk about Forever Red next time. We'll play as many Red Rangers as we can next time, but I'm going to have to lower the difficulty big time because that took a while. So this is what I was talking about in the Girl Power episode. These are the achievements, and you can see right down below is a present, or there's one right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not open. So now we've unlocked the Operation Overdrive Ranger, and this is how you unlock Rangers, essentially, if you guys were wondering. And you can see there's lots of things that I don't...
Wow, that's a lot to unlock. Oh my goodness.
There's 100 things, but it tells you, total out 10 hours, you do this. And you also get tons of points, too, or coins, so that you have the ability to buy, like, ways to level up your character and things like that.
Yep.
But see, defeat 200 enemies, Mighty Morphin Black.
Nice.
So, I mean, I already have these guys, but 300 enemies gives you blue.
It shows how you had to get them, yeah.
500 is Thunder Red. Dino Thunder. Oh. That's what that is. So now we have Dino Thunder.
Yay!
SPD we already had. Turbo Red we already had because his key actually worked. Space Red is 1,000 enemies. Mighty Morphin Green is 1,500. 2,000 is White Ranger. Yep. Okay. Okay, I get it. This is kind of fun. See, now I have 50,000 coins, so I can buy some other stuff. Which I'm gonna need to level Jason up again because it's taking too long. But I mean, I like the achievement system. It's cool because there are very few games today that actually have in-game unlockables. Like, everything is DLC. You have to buy this extra stuff, and just like in order to play as all the characters in Skylanders or Disney Infinity, you have to buy the figures, which we're gonna find out tomorrow when we go someplace in Michigan to try to buy the Disney originals and cover that for all you guys. And hopefully our hotel internet isn't too bad.
Yeah.
But we'll be playing on the Wii U because we don't have our PS4 here, so I'm gonna have to pick up the toy box version on the Wii U. Anyway, guys and gals, that concludes this episode. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to like if you love Power Rangers or the Kwings, and we'll see you guys with another fantastic Power Rangers later. God bless and happy gaming.
See ya.